live.
Oh, hey.
All right.
Oh, the camera. Oh, slide over.
Oh,
Right?
there we go.
The
Okay,
camera's
there we go.
not high enough to show.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, so let's. So we're auditioning mugs, and this is our first contestant. Not great. The printing
Not
area.
the best?
Not the best. Yeah, that'll be a new category. But yeah, the print area is not great, and that black, or I'm sorry, the dark navy is supposed to look like
there we go.
my shirt, not like a royal blue.
Okay, I have trouble with color. Even I can see that it's not the same color.
Yeah, so it should pop a little bit more. And it's just, it's all vector art, so it should be sharper. So I think it's that, the dye sub that sinks into the into the surface, so it gets a little fuzzy. So they're on their way. This probably isn't the one yet, but we'll keep auditioning. And hope for
like I said, maybe changing it to like white background so that the
so the
print area isn't so
border isn't so obvious. But there's a larger size mug coming from a different company. So we'll try a couple of different. We'll audition every week.
There should be like a casting couch of mugs, right?
We'll just line them up, and then shatter the losers on the.
Oh, that got dark. All right.
On the floor. All right. So we'll have a big collection eventually. All right. So how are you doing? Any gaming updates?
Not really. Not really. Why are you holding the funnel? Oh. It was in case we could put the coffee, right?
Oh, no. Ask me about my Dungeon Crawl Classics funnel.
Oh, right. All right. Okay. I was like, why is there a funnel up there, right? Okay. Nice. Okay. Since I don't have any gaming news, because I've been too unmotivated to do anything except, like, practice Duolingo, let's hear about the funnel.
Well, it went incredibly poorly.
Oh, no. Like incredibly poorly in, like, a negative or just, like...
Yeah, well, it was fun.
Okay. Well, okay. Then it was a win.
But we defeated the purpose. So I think it's like this, right? So a bunch of characters go in and then a few come out. I think that's the idea. But mine was kind of like this.
So like a I can't not see that as a nipple. Sorry. So it was just like...
So literally,
they
left with more characters than went in.
Sorry, who was running this?
Me. I was trying. I was attempting.
An attempt was made.
Yes.
Right.
So this was Sailors on the Starless Sea,
and which comes in the Dungeon Crawl Club.
Well, it's not in the book. Yeah, the one in the book is the Portal Under the Stars.
Right. Okay, but Sailors on the Starless Sea is supposed to be kind of like one of the
one of the better ones, and it's real epic. Like it builds really well. The only problem is so what happened is it's a keep. I won't spoil anything, but it's a keep that they have to figure out how to get into, and they avoided everything you kind of walk into, and there's some they just avoided a lot of stuff. So that was really good. Then they got to the way that they were going to enter, and stones from the keep collapsed, wiped out all of one player's characters. Okay. But I said okay. But don't worry, there's four still. That there's four total. We can divide them up, and part of the plot is villagers have been kidnapped. Okay. So they're going to come across villagers that are chained to the walls and everything.
And they didn't just slaughter them.
No, they didn't.
What kind of murder hobos are these?
And so, and after the roll that wiped out, or the series of rolls that wiped out the one player's characters, I said, okay, a mechanic I forgot to tell you about is burning luck. So you can burn luck to get +1 per point modifiers to your rolls. After that point, they became these probability ninjas that can add a point of luck that they needed to roll. So, I'll burn 1 point of luck. They rolled an 11. Oh, you needed a 12. Okay, that's a 12.
So they weren't probability ninjas. They were just like incredibly lucky by spending these points of luck. Okay.
So they would just spend random small amounts of luck because all the characters have at least like minimum. I think the lowest was like 6 or 7.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So they have a lot of points throughout the whole thing. Right. So they just kept burning them, and it was just enough. And then literally every attack roll that I rolled missed. Right, okay. Every single one. Did they not have given you some luck? I could have used some luck. So I did hit once, and I hit a character. I'm like, okay, finally, here we go. Character death. Roll damage, 2 points. Yeah. How many? And it's a D4 for their hit points, and he had 4 hit points, so he's still standing. So it's supposed to be an epic finale, and you've got this big bad rising up, and they're pelting the hell out of it. It doesn't have a lot of hit points for a final boss kind of character.
Well, you're not supposed to get there with like that many characters,
right? And so they're pelting the hell out of it, and so they started. So 8 went in, 10 came out.
How does that work? Okay, I think you need to. Okay. I was going to say, I think you need to write to Goodman Games and say, oh, there's a problem with your funnel. I ended up with more characters and went in.
Yes.
Right?
Well, I was generous because I thought they would get wiped out.
Right,
so I let them build up as many people as they wanted to rescue. I just let them rescue along the way. And then also at the climax, villagers are being sacrificed. Oh, okay. So that really, they went after that right away.
So you couldn't
and stopped.
Reverse Deus Ex Machina it and he suddenly kicks half a whole villagers in, right?
I did. Well, so once I noticed, the big bad's kind of forming, and they're pelting the hell out of him. I'm like, okay, his hit points are going. So
Forms a lot faster.
So then they got seized from behind and are wrestling with some minions, and they got free, and nobody got thrown anywhere into a sacrificial anything. It was amazing. Yeah. So this was I kind of did
an
this.
inverted funnel? Okay, you ran a dungeon crawl classic nipple. All right.
Right. Yes. So that was but it was fun. It was really fun how poorly I rolled. But when you do roll poorly, it's brutal. So I think they should, with some of these things, just almost guaranteed hit, because the one kind of heavier character that they immobilized completely. They had really good tactics, and they immobilized him completely. He had a +6 to his attack, so he was going to hit almost guaranteed. But the big bad had +1, so it was I think he's supposed to just be more terrifying than deadly,
right?
And I was hoping he would be deadlier.
Well,
but every spear missed, every swing of a flail missed, it was brutal. And they literally, it's ascending armor class, so they all were armor class 10. And with bonuses on a D20, I couldn't touch them at all. I rolled single digits, just over and over and over again.
It's a good thing there's another funnel.
Yes,
in the book,
because
you got to run another one to whittle them down.
And they really did a really good job of avoiding the kind of hazards, the things that were going to trap them or make them fall or whatever. They they strategically played really well. So that combined with bad attack rolls for the enemies, makes it pretty amazing. So
thoughts. Okay, I've never actually played Dungeon Crawl Classics. I've read some of the rules and some of the modules. I guess it's kind of OSR-ish, where in that, one thing about OSR, I think, is players having decent tactics, right? Some games, the less you roll, the better, because rolling means this thing is now up to chance, right? And you try and stack the deck in your favor as much as you can by all these kind of in-character tricks and whatnot. So that is something I'm thinking about. So it sounds like they went into with really decent tactics to avoid a lot of the things. Maybe with a funnel, you got to say, look, it's a meat grinder. You're intended to get out with one character. Yeah. Let's have some fun with it, at least in the beginning, right? You don't have to be stupid, but let's maybe ease back on the tactics, and then once we get down to a reasonable amount of characters, then we start acting smart. Almost kind of like a play to lose kind of thing. But on the other hand, like you said, when it does come down to a dice roll, and you're like, I've done everything I can to do the end, you're just miss. You're just this is not fun, right? This is kind of not fun, especially if things get really brutal, and it's a character where it feels different. Where if someone else is rolling a die that affects your character, right? Hit. Well, I can't do anything, right? So I understand that's also why some games, the monsters don't roll to attack. You roll to dodge, right? Because it kind of feels. It's not mathematically it's the same, but it just feels less shitty when your rolls affect your character. Didn't dodge that.
Yeah. So it was really funny. It's not what I expected at all, and I did kind of try to incentivize being more aggressive by doing luck point, because you could reward luck points for performance. So some of the people that charged in and stuff, but they never did that in a situation where it harmed them. It was really funny. The places where they were going to be ambushed, they were peeking around the corner, and then the places where there's no ambush, they go running into nothing. So it was just a really
jump
funny.
Into this very dark pool that you can't. No, don't reflection. Sphere of annihilation, right?
Yes, as soon as they hear the howls of the damned, they backed off quickly. Yeah, but no, it was really fun. The mechanics are really fun, and it's very gonzo. Very you push it to just very extremes, and it's fun to. They give you enough in that module to start to form a narrative. So now they've rescued villagers, they potentially have rescued like a chieftain or something that is going to like now when they go back, reward them greatly. And what was funny is some of the people that they rescued, they can take actions. None of them were armed, of course, the ones that were rescued. So they're just scooping up coins and things the whole time, so they're like filling their pockets and ready to run out, and I'm like, they're all gonna die. The ones that are just picking up gold definitely die, and nobody did. Yeah.
Well, I mean, okay, this sets up a sequel.
Yes.
Right. This sets up a sequel.
Right. Yeah. And they also they added an additional part to that module that they can travel back to, and so there's some good stuff coming, and I like how those funnels kind of lead you in a direction. It kind of starts the tone of things and everything. I think it's really good. Yeah, there are a lot of dwarves. They rolled randomly, but there are a lot of dwarves. Yeah.
Well, that's what happens when you roll. Okay, so that's the other thing I think about like OSR. Sometimes just like there's a lot of random tables, and chance just says this, and you're like, that sparks some kind of narrative that we maybe wouldn't have come up with otherwise, but cool.
Yeah, and for the rescued villagers too, that there's the purple sorcerer app, and then also just the website. We can just auto generate like a set of 4, because they do like the character sheet that's quartered for the level 0. And so that saved me, because I was just like, and you rescue these guys, and it just generated a PDF like instantly. So that was nice to have that as a resource, because I wasn't sure that they were even going to get to that point. Yeah. But when half the characters were wiped out, I'm like, oh, they might not even make it like anywhere, even inside this place. But they did quite well, I guess. Though that set the tone to be more careful. Like wow, it's that easy to get crushed, but it does seem like a lot of the funnels that I've read, there is like a killer death ray at the first door or whatever. So it is intended right away to like really thin the numbers.
Kind of sets the tone, right?
Right. Yeah. So people get wiped out right away. Just like, okay, let's regroup here and carefully approach everything.
Did you check the lock pit? No, crushing block.
There was a great trap on one of the chests that you rolled a 1d4, and that's how many fingers you lost. So there was some really good stuff in that module.
Rude. It's rude. I mean, like, I say that's rude, but I mean, like, it's all about tone, like, right? Like, if you kind of set from the beginning, like, that's the tone of game we're playing, right? If you're doing like a lighthearted kind of, and you just lose 3 fingers. Sorry, what? Right?
Yeah, right. Yeah. So I liked it because I think a lot of people have complained about that they end up with a character that they hate and just like,
then run another funnel.
Yeah, this is just the one. Yeah, right. This is just the one that didn't get involved in anything. It's the last one left. But there is an interesting dynamic with the characters that are more competent, and as they find equipment, they have armor, and they become more or harder to damage and better fighters. And you're pushing them forward, and you hope that they get through. Oh yeah, then there was the most infuriating thing is they found a rotten longbow. So on a 1 or a 2, it snaps in your face and probably kills you because you're so low level. It does like 1 or 2 hit points of damage. Right. So I was like, okay, that's definitely going to kill this character, so it'll be interesting to see. And this was freaking Legolas with this rotten bow. They rolled so many crits, and like we're just one-hitting all these enemies. I'm like, this is insane. So the character that they just did a bunch of quick character names. The character's name was Gary, so it was Gary Stew the whole time. Was just like eliminated. It was just funny. Like the rolls were just trying to be funny. Like the dice results were just trying to be infuriatingly funny.
Okay, that is the appeal of the random thing, right? Like you if you had written that back, you're like, oh, come on, right? But like the fact that it happened and everybody saw it happen, and you're like, now this character kind of has a story,
right? Yeah, right? And these qualities, it's like it may not hold up, but they feel weirdly lucky or weirdly competent. Yeah, it's fun. So I would recommend that the Sailors on the Star of the Sea is really fun, and it really escalates. And for level 0 characters, it gets terrifying. Like I could see characters just being, okay, let's get out of here. Let's just run for it because there's no way we can handle this. Little do they know, there's not a lot of hit points.
Gary Stew, the unmissable bow. Right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, so fun stuff. And there's because there's a chaos element to it. There's a fun thing with what alignment you chose for the characters and everything, because depending on the results, some people get benefits, some people don't. And there was some really fun mechanics, and so I enjoyed it. It just went weird.
Well, I mean, really I think Dungeon Crawl Classics, that's what's supposed to happen, right?
Yes. So let's get started for this week. All right. So fun stuff. Welcome to the Weekly. I'm Jeremy.
I'm Chris.
And this week on the Weekly, AI stealing jobs, and we have proof. Yep. Magic kills Druids and Shaman.
Okay.
Dark Horse Comics publishes Lancer.
Oh, okay.
Alkemy, 2nd edition, Alkemy with a K, so the skirmish game. And Dragonbane Bestiary.
Yeah,
so
you want to pronounce that carefully.
Yes, baby. Well, I noticed the British and the American pronunciation share nothing in common.
Bestiary or bestiary?
Bestiary.
Oh, bestiary.
Bestiary. Anyhow, let's get started. Well, Brinkwatch 2023, we're getting to the end of this year. Day 265.
Yikes.
We need some graphics for this, but yeah, we haven't seen much of Kyle Brink.
Would it just be like a solid like bar graph that just like...
we should, yeah, that's
it'd
right.
just be like
progresses along.
Like... percent quit day, and it'd just be like a solid line on the bottom.
Yeah, I think we should an infographic
on
his failure to resign.
Oh, unless they do like time percent fail.
Yes, continues, and I'd like to thank our new patron.
Yay.
So Dev Genesis, thank you so much. And actually, Patreon now has a free tier, so you can subscribe for free. So thank you to Andrew, Metalzoic, and Hosterfan for signing up for free. So you'll get notifications for everything that goes on Patreon, and maybe if you've got a spare $1, you'll get involved.
I'm definitely signing up for free now.
Yes, right. Yes. Now you can see everything that's going on. And to start off, before we get to the topics, a couple of comments. So concerning the Rebel Moon RPG from last month, Full Metal Dragon had a great comment saying that Zack Snyder was going to be at Gen Con to publicly announce the Rebel Moon RPG, and Evil Genius Games and Netflix. But what happened is the person that was at Netflix that was working with EGG left, so they resigned. So it's all these middle management problems that create all of these chaos, all this chaos. So they left in early April. And then the new Netflix person of contact got assigned to the project, and then a month later shut down the project. So it was basically the manager just said, yeah, why are we doing this? This is a waste of my time.
Right.
So we've seen that with movies and TV series. It's like so affected by this whole bizarre middle management culture. So thank you so much, Full Metal Dragon, for some detail on that. And that's a shame. That would have been a great announcement, would have kicked off, been good for Evil Genius to have Zack Snyder like promoting your game at Gen Con.
Yeah.
That would have been great, but yeah, so it goes. We're in the world of middle management now.
Yeah, we're somehow scrapping a fully completed project. It somehow becomes a tax write-off. I don't know.
Yeah, right. And we're going to claim it. We're going to say breach of contract. And so the guy probably thought, oh, this is going to get me a huge bonus because I'm going to get this World Bible. We're not going to have to, pay anything. They paid us a licensing fee. We get all of this work that they did, and they get nothing.
I kind of wish corporate espionage was like reserved to like cyberpunk games and like stuff we didn't find out until like 50 years later.
Yes.
This sucks.
And a comment directed at you, Chris.
Speaking of sucking.
Yes. So this is from Menyon, so Rob from Confessions of a Wee Timorous Bushi podcast. So I'll put a link to his podcast.
Nice.
And this is the DM for the OSR group.
Oh, nice.
Playing with. And so he made a point about historical gaming. So he said that you may have mischaracterized historical wargaming in a couple of important ways. So some people start out with historical wargaming, and they don't proceed to it when they get older. So it's like the first thing that brings them to wargaming is the history. And secondly, and possibly the biggest part of the enjoyment of historical wargaming is the history, the personages, the equipment, locations, scenarios. So I'm going to say this right. It's the historicity that is the draw, and that is why many people find fantasy and sci-fi wargaming drab, because it doesn't have that. They just kind of make it up as they go along. So I thought that was an interesting point, and I think also from different. I think depending on where you grew up and how people treated, like if you had war vets in your family or not, like there's different approaches to.
I absolutely agree. Like, I might have to go back and listen to what I actually said, because I wasn't trying to mischaracterize it, right? I did say, okay, yeah, it's the running joke around my circles kind of seems to be like you age into historical wargaming, right? Mm-hmm. But that's not necessarily the only way to get there, right? And I absolutely understand that the appeal of historical wargaming is largely the history, right? Mm-hmm. It's this time period, you have these things available, right, in terms of like equipment, personalities, locations, whatever, and then it's almost kind of like a what if, right? We're going to recreate this, and we're going to kind of see if the same thing happens, right? Like for a while, I had like the old Axis and Allies board game, and the appeal there is like, well, given the situation, everything, let's see if things turn out differently, right? So I absolutely get that. for me, it's just kind of become unappealing, especially for certain time periods.
Yeah, right. And you don't want to, where's the war crimes mechanic?
Exactly. Where I'm just like, right. So yeah, like I said before, the farther back in history or forward in history you go, kind of the more comfortable I am with this stuff, right? I'm sure they were doing war crimes out the wazoo in ancient Bronze era stuff, but I'm like, it's far enough in the past where I could actually play that.
Right. Yeah, so thanks so much for the comments, and I'll be sure to
keep them coming.
Yeah, anything that's posted, I'll bring it up on the cast. So let's start with our continuing war against the machines. So we have proof positive that AI is replacing artists. So an established concept artist, Dofresh, discovered by accident that their jobs are being threatened by AI. So he had been working with various companies, and there was one he hadn't heard from for a long time. He got a call from this advertising company. They hadn't worked together for a while, and so that was mysterious that they just stopped needing his services. All was going well, and then he asked, "So why now? Why are you getting in touch with me now?" Well, the advertising company says, our in-house AI technician is too busy, so we were forced to find an artist for this job.
Ouch.
They actually said that directly to a working artist. It's like, okay, that's great. Okay, so yeah, and this artist specifically is anti-NFT, anti-AI. So he's saying, I really need to start thinking about an emergency plan, and quickly. So and even with all the tools now, AI, like Adobe just can't stop revealing this stuff. AI is becoming embedded in all workflows now. So artists are going to have to figure out, and they're just going to have to outmaneuver and out-creative these texts that are sitting there writing phrases. It's just like, okay, I'll generate for you. You pay me, $5 for this image, and I'll generate you 1,000 images, and you take as many as you want for $5. It's like, it's going to have to start being this like, arms race of like, well, I can spit out stuff faster, and my eye is going to be better than any of your texts that are sitting there, negotiating with phrasing.
It is unfortunately unavoidable. And okay, AI itself, or the image generation itself, is not problematic. It's problematic because the fact that everybody's scraped images that they don't have a copyright to, right? So like AI itself is not morally good or bad. It's kind of like how you use it and how it gets used.
Tool.
And the tool, right? Any kind of tools depends on how you use it. And it just kind of, I think it goes to show that a certain subset of people don't see artists as a valuable people, job, whatever. You're just like, no, hey, you're just spitting out images, and we can get our computer to do that. So fuck you.
Yeah. So creativity and a design eye and everything is this unquantifiable thing. So why should we? We can't work it into our budget. We can't figure it out. So one more quote from Dofresh: "I'm afraid that even with the laws protecting artists, the damage is already done. Within a few years, art will probably be a hobby for for wealthy people, and definitely not something you can make a living at." Yikes. That's depressing. Yep. So a few more people kind of weighed in, or a few more companies have kind of weighed in on this. So the BBC is blocking OpenAI data scraping and everything that they're posting, although they are open to AI-generated journalism. Or I guess they're calling it AI-powered, but that's so. So
they're against images,
right? but not
text. Okay.
So that's a weird stance to take.
Yeah.
So they're kind of well, if it makes us money, so they want to provide more value to their audience and society. So the BBC has said they're going to work with 3 principles, and this was interesting when they're dealing with AI. So always act in the public's best interest, prioritize talent and creativity by respecting the rights of artists, and be open and transparent about AI-made output, which I think is fine. And I think we just need to establish AI-generated work has no value. So you can't steal it, you can't sell it.
Steal it.
Well, I mean, you can't sell it. Like it has zero value. So that's fine. Do as much of it as you want, but you can't sell it, and you can't sell it to customers. You can do whatever you want to with it as long as it's free. It's maybe basically non-commercial use.
It's a public domain.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you're instantly generating public domain. So and the BBC also said in the next few months we will start a number of projects to explore the use of generative AI in both what we make and how we work. So prepared to prefer to have even more mind-numbingly boring pieces written by the BBC. So, but it's interesting though because they were involved in a lawsuit with. That was the next person people were talking about. Okay. But yeah, we're kind of waiting to see. And the BBC is joined by CNN, the New York Times, and Reuters for blocking web crawling of their text and images and everything that they own.
I would like to think they were blocking it because they realize that kind of data scraping is wrong. I'm sure they're blocking it so that they can have their own use of it. It's like, nope, this is our stuff.
That's our data set.
That's our data. We're going to use our data to train our stuff. And
right. Yeah. And so, maybe the photographers and the videographer, that maybe they weren't compensated for it, but we owned it. So, yeah. And Getty Images. Yeah. So Getty Images was also weighed in on this. And they say they have built a socially responsible AI tool that rewards artists. So they're trying to, because they have...
Does it reward artists by having their stuff scraped?
Right, but they own it. Yeah, that they own. So it's their photo, basically their photo archives. And there was an interesting quote from from Craig Peters, the CEO of Getty Images. He says, "I think a world that doesn't reward investment in intellectual property is a pretty sad world." And so they're talking about training AI tools, their specific AI tools, with their Getty Image archive, which they own the rights to make it a socially responsible thing. But the interesting thing about photos is, for the most part, people want real photos of real locations. So AI-generated photos is not really that appealing to a lot of people, because that's the appeal of Getty Images. Is these are the, when this person was speaking, there's images of these people are on this red carpet. There's images of them.
Well. Yes, I see your point, but also, I mean, like, if it gets to the point where, like, generate this person standing in front of this actual place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right.
Which the only kind of use I can see for that is like deepfakes.
Yes, yeah, and they did mention that as so they want their tool that they're producing to be entirely commercially safe, and it cannot produce third-party intellectual property or deepfake. So they're trying to, like, you're not going to be able to, with their tool, not face swap people out in places, but. Yeah, it's interesting. And they also said that their tool doesn't know what the Pope is, and it doesn't know what Balenciaga is, and so you can't produce images merging the two.
Okay.
So they're trying to, in safe ways. But it's impossible to, like, outthink what people are going to attempt to do, because you got thousands of people attempting to, use this tool in weird ways and produce blasphemous images or whatever.
People, please just stick to porn.
Yes. So it's interesting. Yeah, they haven't quite come up with the system of rewarding the actual rights owners, but that's something that they're working on, and they're wondering, like, once they put this into action, how it will function and if the people will actually be happy. So it's something they said they're going to be fine tuning for the future. Because they don't know exactly how to, what is a fair and a system that would compensate people adequately for the rights. Because currently it's based on percentages of the rights owners in their archives. Okay. So basically, the split is based on how many photos of theirs of your the photographer that they've purchased or they own. So they'll see. They're constantly working on it. So and they were. Getty Images was involved in a lawsuit against Stability AI, and they're currently in discovery working out their dispute. And Peters also said, the CEO, these are high stakes around the lawsuit. We brought it for a reason. We fundamentally believe that the IP owners should have a right to have their content, whether it's used in training sets or not, and they should have the right to be compensated if that's their choice. Right. Yes. So, and also,
that's a way to potentially kill AI somehow. Enforce that, yes, to be used in a data set for training, you have to compensate the people whose image it is.
Yeah, right. But I think they've already...
I think we're past that point.
Yeah, the data set, they've already stolen everything. And the last quote, a lot of bad actors will claim that you could never do this and you could never get access to licensed data. It's an impossible thing. But he says it's bullshit, and that AI makers can have fair use agreements, and they can create a world where this is actually more ethical. But we'll see. It's going to take a lot of lawsuits and a lot of people that have good intentions instead of just, we want to save
time and money to do this.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's true too. It's an expense to actually create these systems. So yeah, we'll see. And speaking of things that may be deleted in the future.
Okay.
segue. So Wizards again is considering this. So this came up on a blog, and it's not official yet. It's an unofficial statement, but we have the one of the lead designers for Magic the Gathering talking whatever again. So they're talking about removing shaman and druid from Magic the Gathering as like class types or whatever.
Okay.
In their card system, creature types. Sorry, they have creatures because of religious. For real religious comparisons. Okay. So they hinted. So this was on a Tumblr blog. Why is one of the lead designers of Magic the Gathering on a Tumblr blog?
X sucks. I don't know.
Right. I guess so. I guess they're retreating to the blogs they had in high school or whatever. Okay. Anyhow, so due to real religions which practice druidism and shamanism. They're thinking about eliminating those as creature types. So this is, again, Rosewater. No, this is Mark Rosewater, the head designer of Magic the Gathering since 2003. Wow.
Yep.
So he regularly answers questions on his Tumblr blog. And they've already... so we got a question about witches as a creature type. And which type was removed due to its association with real religion. I'm guessing Wiccan. And just because the characterization is always evil. That's the witch type. So they're examining this exact topic with in terms of these other creature types. So their accusations... and I think... Magic is constantly, because of the accusations of racism and other weird intolerance that were in older artwork and things that came up, they're trying to be extra careful, and they're trying to be preemptive and proactive, I guess, about taking these things out. But currently there's a bunch of Christian symbolism, and I think Christianity may be practiced by more people than Wiccanism, but you never know.
So you're talking about like
so angels are fine, priest is fine, whatever, but witch, we got to take that out. And now we're going to tread lightly around druid and shaman.
Okay, I didn't see this. It's been a long time since I played Magic. Probably won't get back to it. But I kind of see I think I see the point, right? If witch got eliminated because it's always associated with kind of being evil, and that's not the case, then okay, a druid has these very strong associations with fur and dirt clad, antler wearing elf or whatever, right? And shaman has kind of associations with the savage kind of wild kind of thing.
Right.
Okay, if they're going, you know what, these are kind of insensitive, and we're going to remove them, right? I guess you could go, okay, well, what about cleric or priest, right?
Right.
Maybe, I don't know.
It's
the news about priests, not good. Right? Okay, so,
but the priests aren't shown as in their real world kind of
no, and
way.
I don't. Okay, I don't know if any of the druids or shamans are shown in their real world kind of thing, but I think it might be more along the lines of if someone says if it has the creature type priest, you maybe don't immediately associate it with X, Y, and Z, right? Whereas witch, shaman, and druid, you immediately kind of associate it with these things, which possibly reflects badly on real world cultures that take those titles. So I think that's what it is. We're priest, cleric don't have these associations. They're kind of fine, right? Because you don't have one specific type you think of when you hear priest, right? These are the ones they kind of do, so we're going to retire them.
Yeah, it's interesting. And the thing that I worry about, so it seems like they kind of, they were kind of balancing, pre-Christian, religions and Christian, because all of that stuff started, showing up in fantasy, and they're portraying all of it. So they had a nice balance of it, but now, people are sensitive about the portrayal, so they're going to start removing things. So as Magic the Gathering goes, it's the same company, so does D&D. What's D&D is going to be?
I don't know.
It's stuck. Yeah, because eliminating a creature type is not as big a deal as an entire character class in revised.
I don't. Well, 5e. Okay, you want to get into it. There were way too many character classes.
Yeah, right.
I mean, just collapse them all back down to magic user, right? That's what it is. Who cares if it's illusion, enchantment, whatever bullshit, all that stuff doesn't matter. What do you use? Magic. Okay, who cares where it comes from? Right. So, sorry. Ask me how I really feel. I don't think that D&D would necessarily have to follow suit. right? They're different games.
Yeah, yeah. And it would have a different effect, on them. So it's interesting. So the writer of this article said something very interesting. Please don't phase out Druids. I've always enjoyed seeing local Celtic culture history represented, but unlike witches, it's not a sinister depiction. He doesn't see it as a sinister depiction. So he's enjoying that existing as a celebration of, Celtic culture. So people are going to have, different opinions about it. So, it's very, very interesting. But, I guess, and also maybe Druid is less problematic than Shaman, like you're saying.
It's probably less problematic. But, I mean, I feel that kind of supports my point a little bit, where if you go, Druid, what do you think of those Celtic-looking kind of nature things, right? Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know how they're going to do it or whether the creature type matters. I mean, you really could go priest or cleric, and it's your traditional kind of druid-looking character or just magic user, right? Mm-hmm, like that's what it is. So it's not work, brain. You're not going to have to remove those Celtic kind of images that the commenter liked, but you're just not going to see the word druid attached to them. Mm-hmm. Right? It might be in the name. Yeah. Right? But if it, maybe not, because if they're removing it as creature type, then they're probably not going to say, they're probably going to name it something else. Anyway.
Yeah, so we'll see. And so are we going back to 2nd edition D&D where they just have to like scoop out all the demons and devils and say, it's got to be safe for this group. It's got to be safe for this group. Yeah.
Okay, there's a difference between like, this is demonic and we're actually summoning stuff, and versus we don't want to continue to potentially negatively depict real world people. I mean, like, it's not like the demons are knocking on the door going, could you maybe remove this stuff?
But the Church of Satan will be picketing outside the doors of
well, you know what? I'll show they be picketing once they have like a flying spaghetti monster creature type, right?
Yes, that's true. So that we'll see. So they gave up tribal. It became typal, and now witch is gone, and we'll see what happens to druid and or shaman. So good luck, Wizards of the Coast. You're really doing a great job of just kind of sanitizing this into non-existence. Just round those corners off until you get a circle.
Circular card.
So I'm moving on. This is another thing. So this is a little bit Embracer related, because we know that Embracer Group embraced Dark Horse Comics. Right. So Dark Horse is now entering tabletop gaming, which is interesting, with Lancer. So they will be publishing the Lancer TTRPG. So Lancer kickstarted. So it raised $400,000 on their crowdfunding campaign. So this is Massif Press is the original creator and publisher of Lancer. Now they're working together with Dark Horse.
Okay, since you're up on comics way more than I am. Mm-hmm. Are Dark Horse and Image separate companies?
Yes.
And they're not like both embraced?
I don't think, I'm not sure about Image Comics' like current status, but I don't think so. Yeah, I think
I'm only bringing that up because I forget the guy's name. Mm-hmm. But the creator of Lancer, or one of the creators of Lancer, also did the webcomic Kill 6 Billion Demons, which is really good, which not recently, but got picked up for a print run by Image Comics.
Oh, interesting.
Like, it's been out for a couple of years, right? And I got to get the other books. So I was wondering if, like, since this person already had, but like if they already had a relationship with Image Comics, it would make sense if Dark Horse was kind of... So anyway, now they kind of have a relationship with two comic companies.
That might have given them the idea, though. That might have given Dark Horse the idea to do this. Yeah, and it's strange because Dark Horse was owned by some Chinese company previous to this, and then they were sold over to Embracer Group. Okay. And Dark Horse has made most of they have some original properties, some original things came out of them, but they really did do a lot of Alien and Predator and Star Wars, Star Wars licensing stuff. So I think that's why Embracer Group liked dealing with them. Yeah, so it's interesting. So if you don't know Lancer, so Lancer's a tabletop game that is they call Mud and Lasers. So the setting is 15,000 years in the future. Humanity survived a near collapse, and now your mech pilots trying to sort this all out with
the... Why do you go from near collapse to like mech pilots?
Right. The Union, the central hegemon of the populated galaxy, is, I guess, either your friend or foe. So they're going to be releasing a expertly illustrated, that's compliment to the artist, 8.5 by 11 hardcover book. featuring the story-rich setting. So this isn't going to be until June of next year, so summer of next year. And so both players and game masters alike just need this one rule book. And the thing that this is going to do is make Lancer, which is popular with indie and crowdfunding supporters of Tabletop, this is going to make it accessible to everyone. So it's going to be all over Amazon, Barnes & Noble, all the big booksellers, because Dark Horse has that reach, already has those relationships. So you may even see it in, Target and Walmart eventually, that kind of stuff. So interesting,
hard to
change.
It's Lancer. Okay, yeah, the Kickstarter is really successful. I tend to think that's because a lot of people were familiar with the creator's comic work, and if they made it and illustrated, well, I'm going to back it.
I see. Yeah.
Lancer also seems, from what I have a copy back in the States that I'll bring back. It also seems kind of tactical, right? Like you're moving your mech across like squares and stuff, and there's all kinds of stuff like that. So I got the sense that Lancer was popular kind of beyond the little indie thing because of the. But good point, right? Like hooking up with Dark Horse will give them a distribution channel. I have to want, because there was already a hardback book.
Yeah, that's what they crowdfunded.
Yep, that's what they crowdfunded. There's like a big hardback book, right? And I wonder if there's any kind of update change or something a size, or if it's just going to say like Massif Press, and Dark Horse. Or is it just going to get the logo?
Because Dark Horse does do a lot of art books, like video game art books and stuff that have been produced in Japan. They localize them so that they'll translate the text and localize them to the U.S. So they're the kind of North American arm of a lot of Japanese produced video game art books. So they maybe that's they're just kind of, they're gonna put their little
maybe that's why it was
on it.
Maybe that's why it was Dark Horse, right? Like I still haven't looked at the book, but from what I gather, the Lancer book is pretty lavishly illustrated, and maybe Dark Horse said, we have experience printing these big hardback art books, which is kind of the same thing.
Did Massif originally, maybe before the crowdfunding, just release the rules free? Like, wasn't the PDF?
There were play tests.
They're play tests.
Either like play tests or early versions up, and I know he's working on another one. But it went through like itch.io first, and then it was, it's been Kickstarted,
Yeah, so it'll be interesting if this is successful and gets more people aware of this, and then they do crowdfunding again for like a new edition or an expansion or something like that.
There's been a couple. There's been a couple like official and like third party like source books or kind of what passes for like campaigns and stuff. So it wasn't just like a book and then disappeared. Like stuff is still rolling out for it, though maybe not physical.
Right. Yeah, so this is going to be a $60 hardcover book when it shows up at retail next summer.
That's reasonable.
Yeah. And the Polygon's quote, like Polygon's blurb on Lancer is perhaps one of the most mechanically rich mecha RPGs ever published, and in my opinion, it stands out as the gold standard for the subgenre today. That's pretty high praise. It's going to be on the back of the book.
It is going to be on the back of the book, right? I still haven't read it, but I get the sense where it's like, mech combat and mech stuff is really kind of fiddly. Sorry, fiddly is negative, involved, right? And if that's what you want from the game, then
Yes, all those Armored Core fans can get hooked up. Well, speaking of crowdfunding, something that has come to crowdfunding in the English-speaking market is the second edition of Alkemy. So Alkemy has been out, I think, for a year or more in a second edition French version, and this was produced by people that play tested the original version. So there's kind of a group that has been supporting this, the Galleon Collective, which contains some of the original playtesters and people that wanted to continue. So what Alkemy is a fantasy skirmish game with very interesting factions, and they did, after the first edition, this collective produced what they called the Blitz format rules in 2019, so kind of a stripped down, quicker to play version of the original rules. And for this, I'm sorry, because the last balancing update for first edition was released in 2017.
So pretty old.
Yes. And so they're trying to kind of, recreate the spirit of the original release was 2007 for the first edition rules. They're trying to update it without it losing identity and staying true to the spirit and the core mechanics. Already this new edition has been out in France and was popular enough that they said, well, let's give it a shot. So they're attempting to to give it a shot. So and thank you to Patrick on the Patreon for suggesting this. Yeah. So his take on it was it's not your typical fantasy setting. So we might be interested. So 28 millimeter tabletop skirmish with interesting rules. So players guess ranges for ranged attacks, and based on how close they are, they get bonuses or penalties. So you gotta have good eye, and the models as the models take damage, they become less effective in battle. So the IP set has bounced around a little bit, but these guys that are doing it now had success in France, so they thought they'd take it to the kind of larger English-speaking market. And this this will be the second attempt to bring this into English. So there's quite a few factions that you can get in starter boxes, and then they have a 2-player starter box with all the kind of tokens and extra stuff you'll need. Cards and stuff. So interesting factions, and definitely worth taking a look. It's a smaller scale crowdfunding. They're only at like 2,000, maybe between 2,000 and 3,000. Their goal was only 850. Well, so and it says on the page plastic miniature. So I'm not sure if that's COcast or what they're doing, because resin, what they have so far is what they've already produced is resin, and there's an interesting pledge. It's over $1,000 or over 1,000 euros, but it's every miniature that's ever been produced for the game. Yikes. They'll send you a copy of. So that's if you really like the original version of this game
and have $1,000
and have $1,000, you can have everything in the new material that they're producing them in, which maybe I'm guessing it's COcast, because that is, otherwise it's hard to produce at that scale with that small of a goal. It's impossible to tool. It's like 10 grand to tool dies for the
plastic.
Yeah, it's casting that plastic. So so we'll see, and I hope they have a good translation, because if they did the new rules originally in French, they got to be careful, because there's been some in the past confrontation and stuff has had some kind of not great translations from French to English. So hopefully they've got some good editors going on. And lastly, a pre-order, which made me so happy because I was worried this may never happen. So the Bestiary for Dragonbane is now available for pre-order. And they're giving you a hardcover book with a typical cover, and then a collector's edition, which is green leather with gold foil, as you would do with a Swedish RPG. I would actually dress in green faux leather and gold details if I could.
Okay.
So that's the collector's edition, and the good thing that they're doing is they're also going to reprint, or they're going to print the core rules, which were included in the core starter set as a softback in this same format. So they're going to do a nice hardcover with the box art from the game, and they're also going to do this collector's green leather with the gold foil.
So you could have like a set.
Yeah, you'll have a matching set of these books, and hopefully, as they keep adding, they'll continue in that way. So the Bestiary is going to give you 63 creatures, of course, full hardcover, and the also a set of standees. So already Dragonbane included those kind of pretty nice heavy cardstock punch-out standees. So everything that's in the book is going to come with a standee as well, if you're using their battle map and standees to run your stuff. So you can pre-order at the Free League web shop. And of course, you'll get the PDF immediately, and then the physical release will be early next year. But I was happy to see that that was the one thing. If they were just going to do the box set with the floppy rule book, I think it would be harder to get more people involved. But now that they're doing a hardcover, for some reason, it just legitimizes the game a little bit more for me. So I was happy to see that the core rules are getting the same. And they're also adding. So the only difference then between the softcover in the core set is they're adding an introductory adventure in this new core book. So they're giving you kind of a reason
taste of what people should be doing.
Yeah, right. So you don't have to have, because the other book included in the set was the Book of Adventures.
Right.
So now this makes the rule book
now
functional.
Book.
Yeah, functional on its own.
Of rules and adventures.
Yeah. Right. And green leather. Come on. So happy to see that. So I'll put a link to all that stuff. You can pre-order. You can back Alkemy, and you can even read Rob's or listen to Rob's podcast.
Oh yeah.
So if you like OSR, Rob has a really good take, because he really just like the lessons learned from sessions and campaigns and stuff. He just kind of ruminates on everything that goes on with his experience in role-playing. So very enjoyable, and he's contributed to a lot of OSR collections and stuff. Nice. So a good mind for OSR tabletop. So that'll do it for this week.
And I got to bounce.
Yes, and I will try to not run any more reverse funnels. I'll try to do it this way next time. That was unfortunate, but so thanks for joining us. So where can people find you?
Forgot the name of it. I don't know. Instagram and Blue Sky. There you go.
Blue
Because
Sky.
I refuse to go back to Twitter, right? Anyway. And that's Hivemind, HYVEMYND. It's spelled with Y's, not I's. And I don't know what I'm talking about.
Okay, something.
Something. I'm talking
Something will
about
happen.
something. Maybe I'll go back to posting miniatures or something like that.
Excellent.
Yeah, something.
Good,
Anyway,
good.
cool.
Yeah, we got to get some
Something.
Agritoria painted and
They've been sitting on
get
my
those-
desk. They've been sitting on my
get
desk. And I
those
keep
up.
looking and going, I got to get them painted.
Yeah, I just
Still
picked-
haven't gotten notification of the
the
stuff we ordered
shipping.
for the shipping,
Oh,
right?
okay.
That'll hopefully like kick me in the ass to get me to do stuff. But yeah.
Good,
Anyway.
good.
Cool.
Excellent. And I'm still doing the single panel gag cartoon weekly on the live stream. And so Abuse Cartoons on YouTube and Twitch. And you can watch me draw. And I ate some chocolate croissant hard candies that were really weird last week. So, yeah. So give that a shot. But it's it's just a fun hang and usually a couple of hours of just watching me draw and talking about all kinds of nonsense. And if you'd like to support what we're doing here, please consider becoming a weekling.
Yes, the strongest of all supporters. I was trying to think if the free tier affected that. That doesn't. No.
That's right. Or a freeling. Yeah, you can be one of the free. Yeah, you can be a freeling. So you can sign up on Patreon now as a free tier to just monitor the updates and things. And then if you want to see or watch or download anything, consider becoming a follower. So our latest follower, thank you again, Dev Genesis, becoming the latest follower. So that's patreon.com/upturntable, upturntable on all social media. And you can also join as a YouTube member. So click that join button. And hopefully soon we'll have some merch with some mugs and some shirts. We're still in the process of testing because we want to have a decent, decent, not just trash down there. And that would be another way to support. And also there's a couple of buying trash. There's a couple of links in the description. So if you shop on Noble Knights or there's also a link for Modifius. So any of the shopping links, and Drive-Thru RPG has an affiliate link as well. So that all supports us, and it doesn't cost you anything. It's just thank you very much.
You spend on the game.
Well, yeah, if you're going to spend it, but you get something. They'll actually ship you something. So thank you so much, and we'll see you next week.
Later, mortals.
Goodbye. All right. So I gave it a few extra seconds there. I was trying to find the find the beginning of the chat. Oh yeah. So Matt said, yeah, we haven't had the Gygax turns as the Gygax turns segment, but I did see that Luke Gygax just recently released. Gary had worked with Troll something Press towards the end of his career, and he did some work for them that then, you know, as his estate was being settled, I guess his second wife like took away the rights, but now Luke has restored that, so they're going to republish some stuff that they did with him. That could be a segment. I totally forgot to that would be a great thing to bring up. But Miguel is a fan. So hey Miguel, hey Matt, how's it going? A fan of Royal Blue. Okay, that mug and the shirt now. Now I need now, guys. Yes, yeah. We'll get. I've got a couple more tests coming. So a larger mug with a bigger printable area, and yeah. So and they do international shipping and stuff. So and we could do discounts and things. So patrons and stuff, if they want anything, can get a nice discount on everything. So yeah, the funnel. Yeah, that was strange. I was playing. I now agree with Matt about Dungeon Crawl Classics. I think Old School Essentials has a huge advantage over these guys for organization and usability of books. The physical book, which I had at the session, I should have had a PDF, because the physical book is a real pain in the ass to use, and we were looking for prone and entangled rules, and they were just these two little references, or two little entries on a attack modifier table. So it was, the organization of that book is difficult. It's fun with all the tables, and I've seen people recommend for Dungeon Crawl Classics is to tab the book, because it is hard. You need to get into the sections with the right tables and stuff, and the sections aren't very big, and so it's so frustrating to have to you skip, you jump right into it's just like there's magic. Oh wait, is it before or after the magic that I need? And I've also seen that they've done a volume of essential tables and then a volume of quick start rules for players. So those things might be useful to have. I would have done, I think, much better digitally, because we had a couple of rules lookups that were a little bit frustrating, finding stuff. But the funnel was fun. I mean, I thought they were going to be wiped right at the beginning, and didn't go easy on them. But after that first, wow, we just lost half the party, they slowed down and they approach things differently. So it was really fun. It was fun to see. And that luck burn is really interesting. It really does, for level 0 characters, it does change things. Like a +1 or a +2 can make the difference, and it did in several rolls. So I was really surprised. You gotta be cruel and vicious or viscous in the funnel. Yeah. But I played, I played the rules, and I let them, anything they stepped in, oh, did you touch that? Okay, well, or did you, so they did trigger traps and things, but the rules were amazingly in their favor. It was so funny, like damage rolls and the chest trap and everything. There was no 1 point of damage, and they lost fingers. But it was really amazing. And so that made it enjoyable, because we just kept laughing about how unkillable these peons were. So that can be fun as well. But and I didn't want to skew anything or fudge rolls to just kill random people. So I wanted it to come out, because by the time they had the group, and when the big bad at the end was swinging, I just randomized who he was attacking. And then as soon as that person was targeted, oh no, that was one of my favorite characters, and yeah, he missed anyhow, so no problem. I could be very viscous. But I think it was fun, and I didn't want to I'm just glad that it didn't immediately sour things, or that I was able to we were able to have a nice session. And doing it, I think it's really important to do funnels as one session. I think breaking that up you would lose so much momentum that it would actually feel kind of weird. But really fun. Vicious like a used car salesman. Nice. So Matt was saying the funnel in the rulebook literally has an instant death trap at the front door. Gotta be meaner. Imagine they are also Swedish butlers. Yes, if I picture them as Swedish butlers, then they're all gonna die. But they also got really lucky because you get a trade good with your profession, then you can roll for an additional. And they got really lucky with trade goods, like the fisherman. I think it was a fisherman had a net, and the net was saved so many lives because they rolled a crit and instantly entangled the head beastman that was charging at them. And so it was they did some really good stuff, and that is the no matter how many hit points or how hard they are to hit, when you've got like 10 people swinging on a single target, that they're gonna kill it. So it was interesting. It was interesting how it went. And Miguel says, as a practicing member of the Abrahamic religion and named after an angel, that's right, I demand wizards to remove every reference to angels because it offends me. It's going to get to that point where it's going to be so generic and so, it's strange because they're trying to head off criticism and you can't do that because it'll just endlessly be, what is that? Outthinking yourself. You'll just be, so wrapped up and it's going to kill their creativity, because then they're going to start, that's going to carry through to the art, and you're going to be telling artists, no, just strip it down to the most unrecognizable, culturally unrecognizable thing you can. It's pretty brutal. But and I think the other the portal under the stars in the core book might have gone, I think, a little bit differently, because it's more traps than combat. So I just think because I just really choked on all the combat, it's really funny. And I guess I could have just like started to put them in situations where they're just going to where it would just like endlessly be spawning enemies, but there's not really mechanics for that, so I didn't want to I just played as written. And it's really fun. It's the way that escalates, and the little things. So they avoided a lot of danger, but they also missed some of the best items in the funnel. There's like a magic ring, and there's weapons and stuff that they totally missed, just because they were being extra cautious. But they didn't fall into a lot of the instant death traps. And I thought there'd be some instant death, but it was just people getting damaged. And they also discovered the healing. That was the other thing. There's like a 10 use, like 1d4.1 plus 1 healing item that they found as well. So it's like, I'm never gonna if I'm not killing them in one blow, they're not going down. It was very funny. There we go. Yes, and the hordes of viscous car salesmen. That'll be the next funnel. Will have those car salesmen. You'll get signed up to these horrible payment plans. So it's funny. If I had a dime for every time D&D removed and returned demons and angels, you'd have like 30 cents. Yeah, that's true. I wonder if that's gonna trickle down. This is just the head designer's blog that all this stuff is coming from, and he just may be getting a little too sensitive, a little too paranoid. I'm probably just paranoid about social media reactions because he's doing this on social media. Yeah, so we'll see. And Matt says, so literally a pencil pusher wanted to show their masters they could save money, and they killed the game. Yeah, talking about Rebel Moon. Yeah, that's ridiculous. And we've seen so many examples of that. The executives, why we got that weird, not that it would have been a great movie, but why we got that weird Justice League movie is because they wanted it out by a certain time, because these executives were stepping down and they got big bonuses if Justice League came out. So that's why they brought Joss Whedon on and forced to choke that thing out at Warner Brothers. There's so many examples of these like crappy mid-management people, just thinking about themselves and not giving a damn about the product that's being put out or whatever. They're just, and that's why you see these execs jump studios and companies so crazy. That's the best way to, that's the promotion, and that's the best way to make money, is just keep jumping ship and fool them into thinking you had something to do with the track record of your previous company. And it's such a mess. It really is, because I was watching some of the Scorsese and De Palma and people talking about that auteur era of the 70s, and they all talked about the death was the execs on set. The death of that auteur era was the middle management that came in once we had the summer blockbuster kind of tentpole movies. Then they had executives coming in to make sure all of that worked as smoothly as possible, so it just choked everything, and we're still like suffering from that. People trying to grind every bean counting, pencil pushing penny out of everything. So very depressing. It would have been great for Evil Genius to have Zack Snyder promoting their game and stuff. That probably would have gotten a lot of momentum. So we'll see. Matt saying the mass market will be flooded with AI. Yes, and human created work is going to end up niche. That's right. But hopefully they'll, we're probably there will be like this division in pop culture, or in just any sort of entertainment where people that are very discriminating and can smell AI and want something that feels authentic. I think we'll have this big push where everyone's trying to make money and trying to fool you with this garbage, and then there'll be this kind of swing the other way with a push for authenticity, and hopefully artists can benefit from that. But it's only going to be a few people. I mean, the fields are going to be narrowed down, so everybody that's trying to make a living doing something creative, it's going to be some lean times. Learn to prompt right. And I saw my first Facebook account. It was just one of those things promoted by that algorithm. My first account on Facebook that was a digital creator, and it was this guy. It was just a generic name like John Lee or whatever. So who knows if it's even a real person? But it was all the art was credited to this person, and he was, but his not credited as artist, but as prompt composer. So he was a digital creator was the title in the account, and he composed prompts for all this art, and it was all this and there was skull emojis in all of his entries and stuff, and it was all this gothic caricatures of Minnie Mouse and all this it's weird cute, and it was just weird because the comments could have even been written by AI, but everything was just you're so talented, this is so amazing, so wonderful. And so it could just have been this whole AI thing. It was really bizarre, but it was so disheartening to see something credited as a prompt composer, meaning they wrote a sentence that said dark gothic Mickey in spooky woods. And that's the amazing stuff that was generated. Yes. So it'll be flooded, and it means you can sell it and you can't protect it. I think you're right, Matt. And Omega saying Bing's chat AI got lobotomized. Because people are having too much fun with it. I saw the Mickey Mouse as one of the perpetrators of a certain attack on New York. That was. I guess you just can't keep that up, since people are going to figure out a way to say it in prompts. Creative prompt writing is going to go around every sort of blasphemy and every sort of offensive idea. Right. So it's gonna. That's true. Miguel's bringing up the, very Orthodox or very strict Muslims don't want representation of the human figure too. So how are we gonna? So our Arabic language AI model is going to have to not be able to depict humans. It's going to be really, really brutal. Hey, Abyss, how's it going? So Matt's saying modern druids are boring. There's no cutting out hearts for prophecy or nothing. That's true. They're just those cruddy guys with antlers and tree branches. Nice. Who's associating shaman and druids with dirt? Just Chris, maybe. So maybe that's the issue, and those complaining should examine their own beliefs, before imposing on the rest of us. That's a good point too. That's the thing that stuff has become, right? And Miguel saying, it's the sorry, I didn't see your comment. That would have been good to talk about with Chris here. The orcs equal a certain race. Druids are pre-Roman Western European, so they're much more hardcore than D&D druids. That's true. So Miguel says, speaking seriously, I think the issue is more modern pseudo-religions than with the ancient ones. Yes, neo-druidism has more in common with New Age LARPing than any real Celtic religion of the past. Yeah, I think that's a good point. Like, yeah, on social media, there's all, those whole Wiccan groups and everything, and I think that's far from actual practice as it is like a New Age practice more than anything pre-Christian. I'm sure that if Celtic druids were incarnated, it would they would scoff. They would scoff at the people they call druidism. Yes, I think the modern practices, and so it's weird that I guess because it's prevalent on social media, the designer is just trying to be cautious, because it's not going to be the Christians that give you a big response. It's going to be the druids that are going to freak out on whatever, Tumblr or whatever. Matt said, I know nothing about Lancer. I yield my time. Yeah, if you're a mech fan, Matt, it's got interesting art, and I haven't taken a detailed look at the rules, but just kind of thumbing through the book. It looks detailed and fun, just like Armored Core and stuff. They let you equip things, so they let you do loadouts and stuff. Miguel says, I do agree with Chris that the word witch has a negative connotation in our language, but at the same time, witches have never been related to any organized religion until until TikTok and Tumblr. Then you've got witches galore. So, and I guess that's probably Wizards is more worried about. They're not worried about the Catholic Church protesting them, picketing outside their offices. They're worried about somebody like gutting their cat and nailing it to the front door of their house, because that's what a Wiccan might do. Yes. So I used to play some mini games. Oh, so this is Matt. I used to play mini games where I had to choose a target before measuring, and if you were out of range, you just missed. Yeah, I like that a lot. But some folks hate it. Yeah, I think that's fun. The kind of eyeballing it and say, I think I can hit it, because that's kind of what you would do on a battlefield. It's like, you have a pretty good, like a pre-computer age, computer ranged and stuff. You have a pretty good idea. You might be able to hit it, but yeah, I like it that it falls short. Nice. I'm not even caught up yet. So in the classical use of witch, this is Miguel, users of evil magic. So not until Wiccans decided to come up with a neo-religion did witch become attached to a religion. Yes. Good point, Miguel. Oh, Matt said, have to disagree with you. The word witch comes from Old English pre-Christian Saxon England. So it refers to wise ones or wisdom, said Matt. Interesting. So, and what about, Abyss is saying, what about anything that refers to warriors or fighters? A thief could be trauma. Yes, if anyone ever broke into... Yeah, that's right. Oh, thieves were in my house last night. I can't play in a party with a thief. Yes, we got to remove it all. It's just you are an individual with a class of some kind. Is it a magical class or is it a martial? You're a magical or martial, and that's all we're going to say about that. Yeah, I can just see, and that's what I worry about. I haven't seen the rules yet, but that Dreams and Machines that Modifius is doing, I'm worried that is an attempt to do a Western European fantasy setting that just feels kind of lifeless, and it's just like this is not going to offend anybody, because we're pushing away clouds and we're waking up robots, so we're not killing anything or I don't know, but that's a lot. I've seen a lot of that, like going into the past or remembering in tabletop games, newer tabletop games, instead of delving and dungeon delving and stuff. But I don't know, and I think that's a little bit of a mischaracterization, saying that you're going into people's homes and killing them for their loot, because I think most dungeons, the monsters that are in there are just kind of they're also treasure seekers or treasure hunters, or they're occupied things, so you're kind of equal in your greed and ambition to take anything valuable out of there. So it's not so much that you're like killing children in front of their parents in a dungeon crawl, but you can characterize it as however you want. Or they could just stop making games. Yeah, that's a good point, Matt. I think anybody that is so paranoid about their reaction that they're going to get you just hang it up. Just do something. Just do colors and shapes in a card card game that kids can flip on the floor. At some point, we're going to have to stop saying things or just getting absurd, and people need to grow up. Abyss, yes, very good, well said. Yeah, I think part of the weird sensitivity is the kind of infantilism of adults now, and I think I think capitalism likes that. I think there's a lot of systems that like that, people to be kind of helpless and just give me some entertainment, take my money, and and I'm also noticing. So my daughter my older daughter in her 20s is visiting from Los Angeles, and I'm noticing the way that parents are treated in this age is much different from how we regarded our parents. It's a weird. It's different, and I think it's just because we don't have adult hobbies, we don't act in adult ways, we don't throw money at boats and vacation houses the same way. We're happier with simpler, stupider distractions, and I think for our kids' generation, they're just like, they're no big deal. So I don't know. It's funny to hear like people in their 30s that I've talked to, especially in Japan, talking about their parents playing Final Fantasy and stuff. Oh, that's my parents' generation game. I don't play that stuff. So yeah, that kind of stuff is very funny. Abyss is right. Games are harmful. We should ban all games. Just go to church and become celibate. We're working on it. I think the internet is working on that, Abyss. Yeah. Some kind of weird digital church where it's a sexless, lifeless pursuit. Miguel saying it doesn't refer to wise ones or wisdom at all. Oh, the etymology stands for practitioners of magic, traditionally of evil magic. So I can though I can be corrected at that point. So what's the next RPG you're playing, Matt? Oh yeah, what are you playing, Matt? The wise one part comes from another source. Magic. Don't you mean heresy? Says a miss. Nice. Oh, but it's cool. Oh yeah, this is an advertisement. My wife hates this shirt because it's just a like an old Showa era advertisement for mosquito coils. So you can see they wrote in English mosquito coils. So it's a company that does. They've been around forever, so they make the most famous. I think they're just made from like chrysanthemum or some kind of flower, but they're an incense coil that you light, and the smoke keeps away mosquitoes, like those chemical candles that we have in the U.S. Whatever those, I forget the name of those candles, but the stinky candles they use for camping and picnics and stuff. So this is I like how it's the color and how it's written in the old school, the old style Japanese advertising style. My wife's like, why do you have a shirt that says mosquito coils on it? Yes. Oh, I dare you to understand the DCC Wizard Duel rules. I'll have to take a look. Yeah, we haven't gotten to choosing classes yet, so that will be fun. Nice. So there we go. Yeah, I haven't even gotten to I'm curious to see what they're going to choose for classes for some of those characters, and put together a party. Probably do kind of like a level 1 funnel. Maybe we'll run another type funnel again, and have them do 4 characters, and then they'll have backups as well, so there'll still be characters they can bring in. Oh, Music of the Spheres is chaos. It looks like a cruel fun time. Oh, nice. Yeah, the Adventure 100. Yeah, I just got that. I just made it to Japan, so I'll have to unbox that. Nice. And Abyss said, telling their artists, how fun it is to do something. Yeah, right. That they'll even be called artists. Yes, they're going to all be called digital content sources. Oh, Threads recommended an account called AI Tools for D&D. Oof. Yes, of course. One day AI will become part of our lives in every way. Yeah, it's already, I'm sure, in our banking apps and everything. We'll have our own unique Jarvis. Yes, it will be talking to us. It's tailored to our needs, and another piece of humanity will die. Yes, Abyss, I can see that. Miguel's breaking furniture for extra loot. Yeah, mosquito coils is a punk band. Yes, I'm sure it is. I'm sure there's a mosquito coil punk band out there. Yeah, this is the average. I don't think it's on this. Oh, maybe it's on the back. But they usually have the kind of mascot or whatever for this company is a rooster. So I don't know what the rooster's all about. I don't. Maybe just. I don't know. Maybe I guess it may be like a zodiac, like a Chinese zodiac or something. But yeah, very old school. I love the old advertising. It's funny how, people are really sensitive to nostalgia. So some of the Japanese packaging, like old curry packaging and stuff, will have some of the old painted kind of Showa era, a famous actress or actor or something on the box. And yeah, that's funny to see some brands that lean into that. Probably get a lot of over 70 customers. Oh yeah, you should use a mosquito coil. Oh, there you go. Yeah, pro AI videos and trending on Twitter. Yeah, some YouTuber making pro AI videos. Yeah, it's gonna be. It's interesting. I still see people post things in some of the tabletop groups and stuff saying, "Oh, here's something I've been working on," and they just post a bunch of AI images. You mean you wrote a sentence and clicked a button and then maybe clicked it again to regenerate from a different source? Yeah, I hope this all settles down sooner rather than later, and ethically. I don't know if we can ever though separate the data sets that have already been scraped. We'll see. And it's weird because so that means everyone's going to use those tools is just going to use, kind of yesterday's news, the kind of the techniques from previous eras, like digital artist techniques from, the 2000s will be permanently enshrined in these data sets. And then if they start to be able to restrict their access to things and images do start getting protected, then anything new won't be included in that. It's going to be weird. Oh, Miguel said, going back to the witch thing, it wouldn't surprise me if, as of yet, it was yet another middle manager. Oh, wait. Oh, yep. Artist and writer, right? Yeah, jobs will vanish. Oh, yeah, but Abyss is just trying to scare us. Create new types of jobs. Yeah, I'm just going to repair all of the robot waiters in Japan. That'll be my thing. But so it wouldn't surprise me if a middle manager is trying to make himself look proactive. Yeah, scaring that head designer. You better think about this. Yeah, I can't even imagine. I mean, everyone's got a phone that can record. I really wish some people would start recording some of these meetings. That would be endlessly entertaining, the kind of ridiculousness that goes on at meetings at some of these companies. To how do we satisfy things? How do we do things? How do we make this happen? Artists are the most triggered, smooth-brained people on the planet. Abyss, ouch. Yeah, I think it's weird because a lot of what artists do is not very quantifiable, and it's like that creativity that they just kind of pull out of nowhere. So it's going to be sad when people doing, especially visual artists, start leaning so heavily on inspiration from AI to like start projects, or as they develop things. Because I saw an artist that was doing digital images, and he would, like, each piece he was getting iterative, like, generative AI to, like, do the sweat spray, like really small details. So basically he was doing like digital AI generated collage to create these pieces, and they were interesting and dynamic, and not, but they're still using that source. They're still using that source of not, of unethical seizure of people's images. I don't know. I mean, music tried to protect itself, photography tried to protect itself digitally, and it didn't work. It's all, music is not worth anything, like actual physical, discs and music files are not worth anything. You can't make money from music, so maybe visual things are just going to move in that way. And then companies are going to start certain studios or companies are going to have to distinguish themselves by having actual human made work that sets them apart. They can charge more, they can be more and then you just have everything else, and a lot of people are just going to be happy with everything else. I mean, Disney is already going hard into digital art. A lot of their openings now for their streaming shows are just AI generated. They just whatever. Yeah, both the second season of Loki and that Secret Invasion, that was all AI generated promotional art and the openings and everything. So Abyss says ChatGPT is a new god. You will bend the knee to the algorithm that scrapes the internet. If you don't believe me, I'll point you to the AI can do a better job. I wonder. I think search results are going to be weird once AI is just in search. And you just be having a conversation with your search engine, refining. Enhance. You're just going to start shouting at Google. I think people calling themselves, artists and things online have gotten kind of crazy out of control when people are only doing fan art. There's people that they've never drawn anything original. They're just like copying people's styles and like reappropriating them for their weird shipping or fan fiction kind of fantasy whatever, their weird daydreams. And so it might not, thinning the herd might not be bad but it may go pretty far in that it's going to actually start affecting, making it so that I think it was the concept artist says, it's just going to be, and I guess we've gone through that, a lot of writers and things that we respect today were just spoiled rich kids that had the time to actually do it, and we're not in danger of losing a house or or not feeding a family or whatever. So we may have another era of that. It's only going to be trust fund kids that can do anything in the arts because they don't have to make a living at it. Yikes. It's possible. Thanks, Abyss. Now you really cheered me up. It's going to be weird. Abyss said, I heard an interesting fact the other day that Google is no longer the main search engine anymore and is suffering from it. Oh, yeah. So people use Reddit or TikTok. Oh, yeah, that's brutal. I don't want to get any information from TikTok. I love people making scolding videos on TikTok. That's amazing, where they just yell into the camera, into your face. Did I stutter? Abyss, you're so lovable, you lovable insider. Matt and I will not succumb. We will continue to create in the face of the threat of AI. That's right. You can only be an artist when you're suffering, and then you gotta die, so people will then finally appreciate your work. I don't know. It's going to be a mess. I just think the worst thing that's going to happen is it's already difficult to find people doing interesting web comics or whatever. It's already hard to find people doing interesting stuff that you can enjoy, and especially like stuff that's available for free. And then with this glut of AI, everything's just going to be buried in this deluge of AI generated garbage. So we'll see, but we still will be able to laugh at Mickey Mouse being one of the terrorists involved in a certain attack in a certain day in September. That's all we got anymore. I think they got what were they calling those? I think we got a fire. So get out of the way. Wow, yeah, you can really hear that. Yeah, these mics don't have any noise canceling. So we've got fire engines running right in front of the building. What a nice way to end things. I guess I'll cut it there. So thank you guys so much for hanging out. Matt doesn't count because mods. They cannot ban you, Abyss. It will reduce the chat by 50%. We're willing to make those sacrifices. Yes, we don't want to threaten any regulars. Be as inciting as you want. You're not going anywhere. You'll be back to insult us. Yeah, yep. It is a real Godzilla attack. Yeah, I'll have to go check which of the kaiju is. Of course, that's right. Godzilla is a lady. That's why she's laying eggs or whatever she's doing. Oh man. So yeah, that's right. There's new Toho Godzilla coming. We'll have to see if that's any good. But yeah, thank you guys for joining us. We'll do this next week, and this audio is for you, especially on the Patreon RSS feed, and that'll go up this weekend. So I guess Saturday night your time, usually Saturday, maybe early Sunday morning. I should probably just start making it Monday. That would be a better time to release a podcast. But yes, and thank you guys so much for the support you've shown, for being members and patrons and subscribers and all that stuff. And please consider subscribing if you want to get notified when we go live doing this. It's the same. It's more fire engines. This must be a big one. So same time every week, and basically Chris's lunch break. And we'll do this again next week. So thank you so much, and see you next time. Goodbye.